the potential Juan Soto extension. And we're going to get back into, playoff stuff, Padre stuff, overall NL in a second here. But I did want to bring this up just because Peter Seidler made some comments where they basically asked him if he regrets giving Fernando his contract. And he said, no, and I'll do it again. That's basically what he said. And he's talking about Juan Soto, and he's talking about giving him an extension this offseason. And I wanted to know, one, what do you think about this offseason in terms of Juan Soto potentially getting an extension? And two, what do you think about Juan Soto re-signing or getting an extension in general with the Padres if that's not this next offseason?
I don't think you trade all that prospect capital and really go all in unless you have at least the idea of signing or re-signing Juan Soto. I mean, that is a lot to give up to just have a guy for 2.5 years. And quite frankly, this isn't really the best team to really go all in. When we were getting Fernando back, yeah, it was a really damn good team. But right now it's like, damn, that kind of sucks. But nonetheless, having Juan Soto definitely helps losing the other superstar. So when it comes to a Juan Soto extension, though, it is going to be fat. We know he's a Scott Boras client. I don't know how it's all going to work out. You could very well become the Angels. You could very well, granted, the three players on the Angels, one of them is one of the greatest players to ever play, but he's always heard. The other is horrific, and the other is the new Babe Ruth. But what's around them really sucks. And what I'm seeing from the Padres is the dependency of being able to trade or sign guys in the free agent market. And if they get Juan Soto, they will not be able to do that. What they'll have to do is they'll have to go get cheaper contracts. And I don't know if I really trust the Padres scouting department to go get the right cheap contracts. What's going to be very integral at the time is how are they able to develop some of these prospects? How is, Dylan Lesko going to work out? Some of the young guys in the farm. I think that'll kind of give us an idea of, all right, maybe the Juan Soto extension is a good idea. I still think it's going to be a good idea no matter what. I mean, one of the best hitters ever play, really, and one of the best hitters for his age. But Seidler has shown the willingness to do it. He wants to bring back Juan Soto. I'm glad he does because, like I said, I don't think you trade all that unless you're planning on at least trying to bring him back. You pair him up with Fernando and Manny for the next few years, and you got a really solid trio right there that you're going to be, and Joe Musgrove. You got a really solid quad right there that you're going to be building around. So we'll see how that comes, but I really hope that they'll be able to extend him.
Yeah, and I think it's going to cost a lot. I'm not expecting him to get extended this offseason. I would be really surprised. I would be happy, but I don't think that's most likely. I think he's going to wait. I think that there's a decent chance, even if you want to bring Juan Soto back, I think there's a chance that he tests free agency and you have to basically, break him off in the open market as well, which I still think that the Padres would try to do if that was the case. But I think that they're going to try to get an extension with Juan Soto this offseason. I don't think it's going to work. I think he's more want to be here for at least a full year to kind of see how things operate, see how stuff goes. And another thing that's big is, dude, the Padres need to win for Juan Soto to want to stay.
Exactly.
And I know that he's a Boras client, so it's more like it's basically about the money, and that's kind of everything with it. But I think Juan Soto in general, if he doesn't want to be here, where did he just not want to be? What happened? He got traded from the Nationals, right? We just saw that. If he doesn't want to be here, then there's no chance that he gets extended. So I think that's another big thing is they have to win. And I think that's why you're probably going to see him wanting to kind of stay over a year, maybe I would say at least a year and then this half season as well. But he's going to get completely broken off. So the stuff that you brought up about the prospects, that they're going to have to develop some of these guys, you're going to need a couple of these dudes. If Eddie Rosario is just a decent player that is cheap, that will be a big deal for this team down the road in a few years. You brought up Dylan Lesko. The Padres still do have quite a few top end starting pitchers in the farm system, but there's a lot of pressure on them because when you lose Blake Snell, Darvish, Clev, right, over these next few years, you're going to need to replace them, and these guys are going to have to pan out. So that's going to be huge for the Padres to win. I still think that I don't think them thinking about how they're going to manage their money is going to affect the Juan Soto extension. I think the reason that the Padres want to extend Juan Soto is because having Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, Juan Soto as your brand is the best possible way to grow your brand. And I think that's where Peter Seiler's thinking. Now, Peter Seiler also wants to win. Like he's said that a bunch of times, that that's like the primary goal here. But it was cool to hear him say that. I think it's a really positive thing when we're looking in the future. But I don't know. Anything else you got on the Juan Soto extension? That's kind of all I had to say.
No, I don't think there's anything big to talk about when it comes to Juan Soto. We're still, I think, maybe only 20 games into his tenure as a Padre. So I'd say let's just wait and see how the team's looking down the road, because if you're going to have to go all in on signing Juan Soto and you have to sacrifice actually building a good team around the three guys that you want to, it might not be the best idea, but this is a guy that you want to keep around, of course.